It's time we have the talk. So, I just turned 35 like a month ago. I do not have a job and I am moving to another country later this year. My life is up in the air and I'm super nervous, but I feel like now I can at least expect these things. I am still learning who I am, but I've done enough scary things that they don't scare me anymore. And the thing is, nobody gave me permission to live this life. I gave it to myself. Now, I want to give you the honest truth. You know, on those perfect social media posts, they're just like, I'm 35, I'm living my life, I feel so comfortable in my own skin. I don't feel that way at all. I am still figuring my life out. It is still messy. I still am unsure about where I am in life, who I am, but I'm realizing that that is kind of just part of the process. And I've been just feeling so called to share this information because I think it is so hard, especially as a woman or a queer person, to just be your authentic self and own your age. And that's why I had to make this video. As a 35-year-old woman representing my age, I am officially now in that new bracket on the doctor's checklist of age. And it's somewhat of a milestone age in a sense. Like early 30s is like still youthful, I guess, like mid 20s to early 30s. So I'm entering this next phase. And I want to make this video so that you don't feel afraid of it. The thing about being 35 is I feel like I've always taken risks. And I always feel unsure. I always feel nervous about my life, but I at least go for it. I have done some dumb I have really up on things and made mistakes and taken risks. Moved to another country alone. I've traveled to many countries alone. I've performed twice in an aerial silks performance, and I'm even going to perform in a month with my school. So the thing is, I've done scary things. And as nervous as I still am, I think the fact that I have continued to do scary things and taking risks, like making this video, I have at least gotten used to it. And now I can tell myself, you're going to survive, Ari. I think you're going to make it. You're not going to die. At least now you're not. You're going to make it past whatever this thing is that you're going through. And that's the beauty about aging. You learn about yourself, you get more used to being in your skin, and through experiencing things and through the failures and through making the mistakes, that's how you grow as a person. This is the area that kind of really hit me is like a punch to my stomach. You know how everyone is like, I want to be married by 30 or 35. I want to have a kid by 30 or 40 or whatever, or I want to have a house. Well, for me, I personally didn't care that much. I didn't care about having a partner, having a kid. But the thing that I cared about was having a good job. I, at the very least, thought I would have a good job. I thought I'd have a business. I thought that I'd be some senior level person, which I was 2 years ago. I was a senior graphic designer. But that is the part that really just punched me in the gut. And I was applying to jobs that I was overqualified for. And I think the fact that I was in another country probably made a huge difference on the whole hiring thing. It was like a messy relationship because I just kept applying and asking, like, what do you want from me? What are you asking from me? What do you need to let this relationship work? And all I get is this text message like, I'm moving forward with another person. That's what it felt like. And every time I put my application into the void of black nothingness, I would get nothing. And it was just disappearing into this new endless tunnel that is in another dimension and in another galaxy. That's what it felt like applying to jobs. And because of this, because I was feeling like I basically said, it. I am going to enter my spiritual healing, meditating, woo woo era. And I was pretty much like a walking wellness retreat, minus the $5,000 ticket, which is just a fancy way of saying I stopped applying for jobs and I started having feelings like a human being. I had no idea I was a human because I actually thought that I was an alien this entire time. So let's talk about that day, the day that I turned 35. It's not like I magically changed into another person. It's not like confetti is flying from the ceiling. It's not like the heavens came down and was like, you are now officially Ari 2.0. Boom. No, nothing happened. Obviously, I felt the same. I will say, the day that I turned 30 it's not like I felt different, but I was like, holy, like, I'm not in my 20s anymore, kind of thing. 35 was not as, like, shocking. At this point, I was like, I don't give a I'm gonna have fun. I'm gonna enjoy my life. I don't care. I was planning some dinners, planning stuff with my mom, and my mom even had a little backyard barbecue with all of her friends. So I had a backyard barbecue with like a bunch of 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80-year-olds. And you would think that it wouldn't be fun, but I love hanging out with older people so much. They are so wise, and they all just looked at me like, you've got so much time. Oh, you've got so much more life to live. You've got so many more chapters in your life. And I was asking around. I'm like, okay, so what advice would you give to a 35-year-old? I'm asking this to like 70-year-olds, 60-year-olds, 80-year-olds, and they're just like, make sure you have good habits. Make sure that you have lifelong habits that are good for you in the future, such as eating healthy, working out, educating yourself. And I truly took it to heart, and I really did love having my birthday with older people. It was just really nice. I feel like they all have such wisdom, and they all seem happy, which made me less afraid. The truth is, I'm not that afraid of aging. I'm just afraid of the way society looks at aging, especially for women, and constantly feeling like the world is trying to put me inside of this box that does not exist. That's more my fear than anything. So on top of that backyard barbecue, I also went to a fancy restaurant with my mom and her husband, and I wanted to dress up. I was like, I'm gonna be the most fashionable in this place. I'm gonna dress super cute. And I ended up wearing this dress that I bought in Milan on my first solo trip in 2018. And I bought it at this really cute kind of vintage shop. And the dress looks amazing. It was super cheap. I think it was like 40 bucks. So I felt super extravagant. The dress looked expensive. I kind of had like an Audrey Hepburn vibe with the flats and the cute purse. And it just really made me feel fancy. And I was like, I'm going to have fun. I don't care what anyone says now. And I enjoyed that. I think sometimes you just have to like push through all that the world is throwing on you and say, I'm going to have fun. It's my birthday. So being in my 20s, I can honestly say that I felt like I was on an emotional roller coaster. There were lots of highs and lots of lows. Everything just impacted me so much. When I had fun, I had a little too much fun. AKA I would drink a little bit too much and get wasted. And then the next day I would feel super and hungover and just going completely downhill, which is actually the nice thing about being in your 30s. I feel like your emotions level out. You're not as phased by things like you used to be. And it's a very good thing for me because I was a very dramatic drama queen, emotional, artsy girl who would cry easily, and just everything was just too much. And I feel like now in my 30s, I'm at least maintaining it, and I still have the highs and lows. It's just, I guess, who I am. But I can handle it better. We've seen people in their 20s who act like they're in their 50s. We've seen people who are in their 60s who act like they're in their 20s. There is somewhat of just an emotion or a vibration that you can put out that is more youthful or more older, or just who you really are on the inside. So I'll give you a little secret. I do not feel like I'm 35. I probably feel more like I'm 28. I still personally can't believe it. I'm not sad about it or anything. I'm just like, wow, I cannot believe I'm 35 already. I don't feel like it. I don't get body aches and I don't have back or knee problems like a lot of people my age. And I do still have this excitement about the world that I notice a lot of younger people have, especially college students. It's like this feeling that they can change the world. And I think over time that feeling decreases. There's also this side of me that does feel like a college student, minus the partying and the drinking, because right now I am working non-stop. I'm literally working all day, all night. I'm working on videos and YouTubing and blogging and really trying to improve in any way that I can. And sometimes I stay up late like typical college students. I eat like a college student. I eat the same cereal every morning and I have rice all the time. I eat rice and canned tuna like every day, and I know it's probably not the best diet, but I have to be cheap right now because I don't have a lot of money, and I'm okay with it. I feel like I'm kind of in my hustle era like when students are studying for the SATs or something like that, and I'm just trying to hustle to get to the next phase of my life where I want to be. Also, how college students have that feeling of graduating, like, oh, I'm going to graduate in November. for me, it's like, oh, I'm going to move to another country in November. So I feel like I'm rushing to get things done by that date because I got to get all my stuff ready. So it's this like hustle, like get your shit together kind of energy that I currently feel. I think you get to this point where you just don't care what people think about you anymore. And then there's somewhere in the early to late 30s where you're just kind of like, I don't give a what you think. This is me. If you don't like it, bye. And I'm kind of like that at this point. Like, I know who I am. I know who I am deep down inside. I know what my like spiritual aim, like I know what my energy would look like. Like, I feel like I'm this colorful, sparkly, like fairy rainbow creature in this human body. That is me. And if you can't accept it, bye. I don't care because I love my energy. I love being by myself. I love the people that I attract, and I only want to attract the right people in my life. And to those of you who have made a lot of mistakes, you've messed up, you've missed out on that amazing opportunity, you failed hard. I'm slowly learning to look at failure in a different light because I'm doing so many new things. I am failing a lot. Lots and lots and lots of failures left and right, failures up and down, side to side. Yeah. And I'm getting to this point where every time I reach a failure, I tell myself, this is probably where someone would quit. This is the part where someone would just stop going, and I'm going to keep going. So it's almost like I'm hitting a ceiling. I'm breaking through to another level. Every time I hit that failure, I'm like, oh, this is a good sign. This is a sign that I'm leveling up. And trust me, it's difficult, especially being an emotional person who hates to get rejections and failures. But I literally have to tell myself in my brain every time I fail, I'm leveling up. This is a sign the universe is rooting for me, as crazy as that sounds. Yes, I drank a lot, especially in my mid to younger 20s, probably like 18 to 24, I would say. I drank a lot, and I think I did it because I always felt very, very out of place. Growing up in high school in Hawaii, I was very much the awkward, weird girl that none of the guys liked. I was 5'10", and the guys were like 5'7", the girls were like 5'2" or something, and I was very skinny and just I always felt out of place, and I just wanted to dance and have fun, and I really enjoyed alcohol because it helped me feel free and loose, and I felt like no one was judging me, because I've always had this feeling that people are looking at me or judging me because I look so different from everyone else. And that's kind of where the drinking started. But now when I look at drinking in my 30s, I tell myself I'm really, really grateful that I drank so much. I drank so much that I pretty much have no desire to drink now. Like, I'm just like, yeah, I've done it. I've had wasted nights. I've puked out of a taxi cab. I've puked many, many times all over balconies and on people and in restaurants. I got it out of my system. And I look at people who get drunk now and I just kind of tell myself, I get it. I've been there, girl. I know exactly how you're feeling, and I am not judging you because I've been there. I'm happy that I drank a lot. I got it out of my system. I can say I had my party girl phase, and I'm not going to regret it because I can look at it as a crazy chapter in my life where I just had fun and danced a lot, really, and then felt like shit the next day. But the truth is, every mistake that I've made, I really am grateful for because I always remembered it eventually led me to something even better. And even if it took some time, where I was like, why? How could this happen? Eventually, it would lead to something that was even better than I expected. I have to say, I'm so beyond grateful for growing up with my grandma because I think she really is the reason why I'm not as afraid of aging as most people. My grandma was happy walking around, doing Tai Chi, hanging out with friends into her 90s. And she lived to almost 102. And I don't think I'm as afraid of aging because I got to witness a happy older person. She didn't seem miserable or sad. And when I think of elderly people, I think of happiness because I was always around very happy elderly people. And if you're interested, I did interview my grandmother, who was, I think, 101 at the time, just to give you hope. Because what you see kind of makes you think that way. So if you grew up around a grandparent who was grumpy, miserable, sad, I think it goes into your subconscious. I'm going to be grumpy, miserable, and sad when I get old. But if you see enough happy elderly people, I think it can actually change where you're like, no, it is possible. It is possible to live happily and enjoy your senior age and have fun and enjoy walking in nature and reading books. So I'll share that video. But, also look at the people who you want to be like. And that is totally my grandma for me. And I'm just, I feel like she helped me a lot with, especially entering this world where reaching 30 is like, okay, you're not hot anymore kind of thing. When I was 25, I think because I was figuring myself out and I was just so unsure of who I was as a person, I probably was somewhat self absorbed, or I would just talk about myself. I didn't even realize it. It was just, I'm constantly questioning who I am. What do I do? Am I like this or like that? But at 35, around my mom, I I understand her feelings more, and I've also had to understand that there will be a day where she won't be here anymore, and making her happy is my main priority now. So if she wants me to come home to Hawaii to be with her, I go. Not just for me, but I do it for her because I know that she wants to see me and I have to do that. I have to put the focus on her now, not on me. Also, I kind of feel like my mom is cooler than me now. She's retired and she's just kind of living her best life. She's playing pickleball, going on walks with friends, watching her favorite TV shows, and raising butterflies. And I'm kind of like jealous of that life. There are two types of women in this world. There are women who are completely controlled by their age. They want to look 25 forever and they want to be seen in a certain way. They have to dress a certain way and they just have to stay in that box and they're afraid of their age. And I don't want to be that woman. I want to be the woman who can yell it from the rooftops. I'm 35 and I own it. This is who I am. Deal with it. I guess being 35, it's kind of like, I think you hit this point where you either kind of just own it and just say, hey, I'm 35, deal with it, or you let it consume you and you forget to grow and you only want to just look young and be youthful without gaining any wisdom. And I've decided I'm going to own it. That's the person that I want to be as I continue to get older. And honestly, I want the douchey assholes to judge me for telling them my age because they suck. And if me telling them my age makes them uncomfortable, then that's a them problem. I am not going to shrink so that someone else feels bigger. Seriously, the people who have problems with you aging are the same people who have problems with you at any age. You can't win with them, so stop playing. So, where I'm getting with all of this is you pretty much have a choice. You can either grow stronger or wiser, or you can let the world eat you alive, pushing you into this box that none of us even fit in. There are no standards. We can be whoever we want to be. And as crazy as the world seems now, look at the past. Women couldn't even vote in the 50s. Like, we have more freedom now than ever. And we have to own it and realize, even though it's scary, the world is getting better. And you have the chance to own who you are and live your best life.